Government earlier this year rolled out several measures aimed at dealing with the dry spell that hit parts of the country. And actually, these measures have kicked in. How are they being rolled out? What is the state of Ghana's food security? And how are these measures being done in a way to ensure that they actually achieve their desired result? Dr. Brian Champon is the Minister of Agric, and he joins us on PM Express Business Edition. Remember, Doc, I said that we'll be coming back, and we are back. And the economists always say all other things being equal. It appears that majority of these measures have kicked in from today. Just update us on some of the key measures and how have things gone so far.
Well, thank you very much. You did promise that you'll be back, and you're here.
Yes,
That's
sir.
The mark of a good journalist and also a good Ghanaian. You keep your promise. Yeah, indeed, we knew about the dry spell, and we had projected the impact of the dry spell as far back as February. So we've been working to ensure that if it did happen, that we will not have an effect, that much of an effect on our food systems. And then also to ensure that if it did happen, then we will be able to analyze the situation very quickly and provide the support to the farmers. And so what we announced was a bouquet of things that we wanted to do for the Ghanaian farmer and then also to further protect our food systems. You realize that because of good planning, this is the month of October, by now the northern grains should have been on the market. It is not. So the price of food should have been way through the roof. But there's a lot of food on the market, except for maize, which we are beginning to see some quantities. The prices is quite high. But apart from maize, every other staple that we consume, the price is either coming down or has been relatively stable. It is all part of the plan. It is not something that just dropped out of the sky. It's something that we planned it, and we are beginning to see the fruits of it.
Doc, you spoke about the prices, and I just wanted to ask, how current is this price data, or in terms of your men on the ground, in terms of the update on the price? Because one, if you look at the Ghana Statistical Service data for September inflation, they cited food inflation as a major driver of the spike that we've seen. And therefore, when we heard you announcing that food prices have come down and all that, we asked ourselves, where's the data coming from when the state of the Statistical Service shows that food prices are actually going up? Just help us with some information.
But I don't know where Statistical Service collected their data from.
National, I mean.
But I'm saying I am in every part of this country. Okay, on a daily basis, I get data, farm gate prices of the almost 22 commodities that we are tracking. I get the market prices of these items. Okay, and I'm talking about daily basis. My paws are on the food systems of this country. I can tell you that I know everything about food, who is producing what, where the crops have gotten to, when the crop will come on the market. And I am telling you that if you go to Agbobloshi, maize, the price of maize has jumped from 600 cedis to 1,200 Ghana cedis. That I acknowledge. And I did mention in my press conference in September that we expect the price of maize and rice to go up. That a statement that I made, the price of maize has gone up, but the price of rice has not gone up because we have taken delivery of rice in the system, and so we've been able to keep the prices stable. However, plantain has dropped by 27%. Onion has dropped, tomatoes has dropped by 30%. Onion has dropped by 11%. Cassava by 13%. So almost every item that we consume, and I'm talking about since June, the prices have been going down. You also realize that in the dry season, you get onion. In the wet season, you get tomatoes. This time round, we have tomatoes on the market and we have onions on the market. And both crops, the prices are going down. I'm talking about Accra market. let alone Techiman market, a Tebu market, Pru market, or a Dra market. This is what is happening on the ground. The prices of food, and I'm talking, you don't go to the market. I'm sure somebody does. You have a houseboy or a servant.
That's not up for this.
But if you go to the market, the prices of everything, and I can show you the data. Okay, the data from January to date, the data from last year June to this year June to this year October, that the prices of food are coming down, except for maize, which we predicted that because of the dry spell, the price is going to go up, and that we are trying to contain with 100,000 metric tons.
Could it be a problem of a farm gate issue and the actual prices on the market? Because when we saw that data from the Ghana Statistical Service, that showed that the month-on-month food inflation have gone up. That is just recent. And
no, but I'm saying,
it was quite surprising.
Yeah, the inflation, you see, the inflation from Statistical Service has nothing to do with the price of food going down.
It's going up, but at a slower pace.
No. When they announce inflation figures for the month of September, they are comparing the price of September to last year September. So if I'm telling you that from January to date, the price of food is going down, and then Statistical Service takes September and compares it to last year September, and say that the prices of food is going up, they're only comparing September to September. But I'm saying that this year, January to date, from the prices of food is going down, and especially in September, notwithstanding the announcement of the dry spell, we've seen a significant decrease in the prices of food on the market. The foods that we eat, tomatoes, onion, pepper, cassava, plantain, soya, sorghum, millet, these things, except for maize, everything is going down.
Oh no, but what do you think is driving the prices based on the data that your men are giving to you?
Last year,
what could be the reason?
We have pumped in over 200,000 metric tons of fertilizer in the system, both from the government side and the private sector, between Ministry of Agriculture and, of course, Ministry of Agriculture with Cocoa Board included. Because if we supply fertilizer through Cocoa Board to the farmer, a cocoa farmer who is cropping cocoa also has some plantain or some yam farm, we call it cocoa asibaire, and all those things going on. So we were able to pump a lot of fertilizer into the system from December last year. And we began to sow the fruits of it around March, April, and that is why consistently we've had a lot of food on the market. And we project that it is going to continue, because as we speak, we are putting in another $80 million worth of inputs, largely $60 million in fertilizer and 20 or so odd million in seeds. We're pumping that into the market, and so we should be able to see the price of food continue to trend down all the way into April, May of next year, and we are confident about that.
That is very interesting projection.
It's not just a projection, it's projection based of planning. Okay, if you look on the screen there, I have 839,000 farmers across the country that I'm tracking their activities. Every one of the 830,000 farmers, and every day the number keeps going up. Today alone, we've registered more than 20,000 farmers just today.
Those who are signing up to get the packages that you're offering to them?
And, well, we are registering farmers in this country so that we're able to track their activities. When they do land development, when they plant the seed, what type of seed they plant, the yield of the seed, what type of fertilizer they apply, when they apply it, the expected yield of the farm, when the harvest is going to be, when the product is coming on the market, the cost of the farmer's input, and the expected farm gate price of the product, and then the market price of the product. We are tracking all that, and I'm saying that I am, as we speak, 839,000 farmers are registered, and I'm sitting here, I'm able to know what each one of them is doing, and therefore I am able to track when what quantity of maize is going to come on the market, what the price is going to be, and if it is going to be south, I know how to prop it up. That is what we're doing. Intelligent food systems planning. It's not just something that we're just pulling out of a Houdini and saying that we don't know. We know what we are talking about. We've planned it so, and that's exactly what is going to deliver.
I know your men on the ground play a critical role in terms of supply of data to the statistical service.
No, the supply, we collect our own data.
Okay, so is there going to be any engagement in terms of trying to reconcile the numbers to ensure that what the ministry has in terms of food prices again reflecting whatever they are feeding into their data at the national level?
Well, look, we are on every market, every day. And we have more than one person on the market. So if you go to Agbogbloshie market and we collect the price of tomatoes, okay, from market Queen A, market Queen B, we have other people also going to Agbogbloshie market collecting the same data. So the system is able to tell us, okay, that the information that we are getting is accurate or near accurate, and we're able to statistically plan. We collect, look, we know the trucks that are entering a Tebubu market and the content of that truck. If it is maize, if it is plantain, if it is cassava, we know all that. We have the information which allows us to plan our food system. So it is not something that somebody is just sitting in their bedroom and texting. If you are not on location, you can't even send us the information.
Oh no, but what is the ministry doing about this challenge that we always had in the past, where you realize that there is abundance of food on the market, but it appears that cutting that foodstuffs from the farm gate to the market, you often witness a significant spike in the prices. Transport fares have been fairly stable.
Yeah.
So what are your men on the ground telling you?
But you're also speaking as though that is actually still the trend. That in itself is coming.
Changed?
It's coming down. It's coming down. The distribution margins are coming down. I mean, and that is why the farm gate price of maize in Atebubu, okay, is 600 Ghana cedis. The farm gate price of maize in Atebubu is 600 Ghana cedis. If you come to the Atebubu market, it's 770. Previously, it will be, they will sell at the farm gate at 600, and on the market it will be at 1,000. But from Atebubu to Atebubu market, you are seeing 170 margin, which is the transportation, all the people that cut the goods to the market and all those things. And we can accept that price. The same commodity, when it comes to Accra now, Agbogbloshie, maize, 600 farm gate, 900 Ghana cedis for the same product. So we are seeing that where Ghanaians were being ripped off en masse on the distribution margin, that gap is closing. Because now, if you don't close the gap, there will be an interference from the system, and to ensure that at least people are selling their maize or rice at the right price and not cheating.
Let's look at the sustainability of this scheme, or whatever that is being done to ensure that prices still. You've projected, or based on your data, you think that prices will significantly be going down to April next year. How do we sustain these price trends that are sliding down? Because there are other projections that are more contradicting the ministry.
I want to see this projection that is contradicting the ministry's projection. Let me see it. There is no such...
The General Agricultural Workers Union think that the outlook is bleak for our food. The World Food Programme, as in a recent report, has raised issues about food security levels in the country.
No. There is no such report anywhere. There is the only report that you have is the MOFA report. Nobody has any other report that is saying that the food systems is bleak.
World Food Programme, the food security report.
They took it from us and misquoted us. So you see, we do.
So that report actually the interpretation is wrong.
Read the report. I mean, I know that one of the institutions that are being quoted are up in arms with the organization that printed that data. They did a similar thing last year. That 2.3 million Ghanaian people are going to go hungry by the end of last year. Did you go hungry? If 2.2 million people are going to go hungry, with a third of the people in Greater Accra, a population of 6 million, a third of them, 1 in 3 people are going to go hungry. Will you be sitting here looking all fresh? Did you see anybody hungry? This is the same report that they came up with last year. But I'm saying that we are able to tell that there's going to be a dry spell.
Again?
No, I'm saying that there's going to be a dry spell. But if we don't do something about the dry spell, this and this and this will happen. Okay? So all things being equal, if there's a dry spell affecting 1 million people in the transitional zone and then the savannah zone, okay, and you don't do something about it, then naturally 1 million people are going to go hungry. But you don't just go and put up a report that 1 million people are food insecure in the country, or 1 million people are going to go hungry. Yes, if we don't do anything about it, they're going to go hungry. And we don't need that early warning system. We know it. We've announced it. But because we are going to do something about it, you have no right going to publish that 1 million people are going to go hungry. And then when they don't go hungry, are you going to come up with a report that says that 1 million people did not go hungry? It's a completely unnecessary reportage, creating fear and panic in a way that is quite distasteful. And we have officially communicated that.
Is it the problem about the interpretation of the data, or somebody got it wrong in terms of analyzing the data?
We think it's one of
a projection. Because I mean, when we hear something coming from World Food Program, everybody takes it with seriousness.
It's bad journalism. It's bad journalism.
So it was more of the reporting,
but I'm saying
the BFP getting it wrong with the assessment.
I'm giving you an example. If we've announced a dry spell affecting almost 1 million farmers, you cannot then go and put out a report that 1 million people will be hungry by September. When you don't add that, we project that 1 billion people are going to be hungry if government does not do X, Y, Z. Because when you put up such a reportage and government actually intervenes and does something about it, you are not able to report that the 1 million people that we projected that will be hungry, now they are not hungry. Because that in itself will not be something that will sell. So you take a piece of the information, the bad news about it, and then you go and announce it. I think that is most unfair. We don't have that information that 2 million people are hungry. I won't be sitting in the office here. If 2 million Ghanaians are hungry, and I'm sitting here having an interview.
Oh no, but let's look at sustaining the price trends and the data forecast based on that. You look at the data and you believe that going forward prices will be sliding down. What are you doing at the ministry to ensure that it comes to pass? Because this is a sector that is more of a force majeure, may have a very serious impact on it. What are you doing on your part at the ministry to ensure that indeed prices will continue to slide down going forward?
Well, so it's production. Okay, and keeping the cost of production at a certain level that farmers are comfortable with. We know how much it costs to crop an acre of maize. That will make the farmer comfortable, beyond which the farmer will be making losses, or beyond which the price of food is going to be expensive. So our job is to make sure that the cost of inputs, seeds, fertilizers especially, are brought to the barest minimum. So if at the end of a planting season, we are able to keep the cost of production at a certain level and add the farmer's margin to continue to keep the farmer producing, okay, then I have done one side of the job, that is the production. The farmer has produced and the farmer is happy with the margins that they're getting. Between the farm gate now on the market, I need to make sure that those who are bringing it on the market are keeping it within a certain price rate. So they add their transportation costs, they add their distribution margin, and maize should be selling at this price. And if maize does not sell at those prices, then I have maize in stock. That's where I will interfere with the market by now bringing the maize that I have in my warehouses to the market to sell at those prices, to force them to sell their products at the same prices. So that is really what we have to do until people now begin to settle in their mind what the price of, and I use maize as a proxy in all this conversation, that look, it costs about 4,000 an acre. You get about 40 bags and per 40, 50 kg bags per acre. This is how much you're supposed to sell it, about 220 normal if you're producing, or in these times when there's, I see that the farmers are producing at 300 Ghana cedis and are charging 600 Ghana cedis, largely because of demand and supply. Largely because they know that because of the dry spell, there's not a lot of maize on the market, so their cost of production has not increased. Still at 300, but they are charging 600 at the market gate, and they are very, very happy about it. And I'm telling them that no, make about 30% margin on your production, okay, so that the general consumer is able to buy the maize at about 400 Ghana cedis instead of you charging 600 Ghana cedis and making up abnormal profit and then affecting the entire food systems.
Doc, when we come back, we'll be doing more details on some of the measures that I've rolled out from today, the money, the stocks and others, to get more details on that one and how effective would it be. This is PM Express Business Edition, engaging the Minister of Agric, Dr. Branich. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we talk about the state of Ghana's food security and also assessing the measures that government has put out to try and curtail the dry spell. We're engaging the Minister of Agric, Dr. Branich. And Doc, help me out. You have rolled several measures from today.
Yeah.
The bit about giving the farmers some input supplies. There's a bit about a credit system. Help me run through 101, the major ones that are kicking off today.
Wonderful. Look, what did we announce? One, that we need to get our food systems back on track to help the farmers in the north get back into production very, very quickly. And what you do is that because they've lost their crop, a majority of them, they've lost their open pollinated seeds, we give them seeds and fertilizers immediately. And to be able to get the south to produce quite a good quantity of maize so that we can meet our 2.5 million metric tons or 2.4 million metric tons of maize that we require per annum, we have to also give significant quantity of inputs to farmers in the south. And so today, on the 8th, yesterday, we started moving fertilizers from our warehouses to the regional distribution centers to be given to farmers. So that has started. We also promised farmers that we will give them food. And these are farmers in the 8 regions, the transition and then the transition zones and the savannah zone. That too, we have about currently 34,000 metric tons of rice from our warehouses that are moving to the regions. And then we have a lot of drip tipper trucks that are going to take it from the regional distribution centers to the districts for onward distribution to the farmers. So that is really what is going on now.
Help me understand the measures that are in place to ensure that the right farmers out there are indeed going to get these supplies that are being pushed in.
It's quite simple. And we've announced it from the first day that we announced the dry spell. And we've announced it when I announced the commencement of the implementation of the measures, that the only way you can be a beneficiary is if you are a farmer and your farm is registered.
Are they registering?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a farmer's details. You can check on the screen. The farmers are registering. We have 3,000 boots on the ground, ensuring that every single farmer that is affected is captured on the system. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other protocol way to benefit from it or political way to benefit from it. You must be a farmer and your farm must be registered. And the data is printed from the system and it's now given to the people. And they take your information. They scan your details, they take a picture of you and link it to the system before you can be a beneficiary. No other way.
So all other things being equal, by the close of this week or even next week, these farmers out there should be getting these supplies when it comes to the seedlings and those other things.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Because we're also running out of time, especially in the southern sector. the grains is raining, good rains, we're getting good rains. So the seeds must be in the ground about now. The fertilizer application, and the first fertilizer application is about now. For the northern sector, they are now, those who planted must be applying their urea. So we have the timetable for the inputs application, and we are making sure that the inputs reach the farmers timely enough so that they can use it to
Are the
produce.
poultry farmers also be captured in this whole arrangement, because they were also looking for some feed for their
Yes,
beds? And
yes.
how are they playing, or how are they going to benefit from this whole?
We've met the president of the Poultry Farmers Association, and we've asked him to, through his system, collate a list of all poultry farmers that are producing, not those who are not producing for season or for whatever reason, those who have live beds now. We want the list, and we want to be able to apportion poultry feed and vaccines so that everybody who is producing today and has beds, they get access to the government feed and vaccines. It's not just feed. We're giving them feed and vaccines. For those who are producing now, we're going to give everybody, every poultry farmer in this country, feed and vaccines to support their production. Because we're doing this because one of their biggest, one of the raw materials that they use is maize. And the price of maize in some places has tripled. And that will affect the cost of production, and then the cost of a piece of 2 kg chicken. And so to be able to keep the prices low so that they can compete with the imported chicken, we need to subsidize the feed for them so that they can continue production. And that's what we're doing.
Doc, another interesting measure that you outlined was this credit to farmers and interest-free.
Input credit. Oh, yeah.
Is that also going to take off?
Yes. Yes.
Why are you doing this, Honorable?
So we have to eat. And so that's the answer to it. We have to eat. We have to keep the prices of food stable. We have to keep the prices at where farmers are making decent income, and keep the prices where consumers are comfortable paying. And so that's why we're doing that. In the flood, in the dry spell area, there are commercial farmers. What we are giving out largely benefits smallholder farmers.
That is the 1,000 or the 3,000?
Yes, I mean the people with an acre, a hectare, we are giving them 2 bags of NPK, 1 bag of urea and seeds and maize seeds or rice seeds and things like that. But that's for smallholder farmers. You have some major commercial farmers who've also lost their crop. And if you go and give them 2 bags of NPK and 1 bag of urea, that's an insult in itself. You know, so we need to find a different package for them to be able to continue to produce on a large scale. So what we are saying is that, look, go to GESAL, go to ADB, take a facility because you're already an established institution, okay, and we will pay the interest for you. We don't want to give them the money and the money doesn't go into production. Okay, so go to a commercial bank, and we recommend ADB because they are partners, or GESAL. Take a facility, okay, and go back into production. The interest on that facility, we will pay. I have 50 million sitting here, okay, and so if you take 100,000 and the interest is 30,000, I will pay the 30,000 on your behalf, and you pay back the 100,000. Because if I give you the 30,000 cash, you won't go back into production. But I need you to go back into production. And so that is also kicking in. The poultry is kicking in. The inputs to smallholder farmers is also kicking in. And the 1,000 cedis that we are giving the 800,000 farmers are also kicking in.
Let's look at the bit about this whole interest. Isn't it quite a risky area? Because some would say that just guarantee the facility for them and let them go out there and take the facility. I mean, taking the interest and all the rest, isn't it quite a risky venture? I
can't guarantee the facility for you. We have institutions that will do that for you.
Yes, sir.
But yes, we have, you know, there are a lot of, even SADEP. We have projects by AFDB, ADB, that guarantees such facilities for farmers. the Ministry of Agriculture, we cannot guarantee a facility for farmer. But government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, can say that if you take a facility and truly and really you go into production, that interest component will take it up. But because I need people, I need farmers to produce. Yeah, I'm not Father Christmas sitting here dishing out cash. I mean, even though I want to be, you know, but I need right. But I need people to produce because about 32, 34 million people that we have to feed. Okay, so production is our first objective. You know, people. This ministry is Ministry of Food
and Agriculture.
And agriculture, food. People forget that if people must eat, that is our job, and we have to produce in order for us to eat. So I need to get people to produce, not to dish out cash to them.
So if today I'm a commercial farmer who has been affected, from tomorrow, can I go to agricultural development and what else document and get this facility?
Absolutely.
And I don't need to have any party card or be a friend to the minister to get the support?
Why must you?
I'm just asking.
I've been here 18 months. Is it 18 months? Maybe April, so maybe 15 months. I have distributed fertilizer nationwide. Not one person, one on earth, including Ghana, can tell you that the distribution of fertilizers were politicized. Not one person can tell you that the distribution of seeds, rice seeds, maize seeds, were politicized. Food production has nothing to do with politics. When we finish eating, then we can go and do our politics under the tree. But we cannot politicize the food systems of this country. And so we don't do that here. It's not part of our language.
Doc, are you optimistic that all these measures that you've rolled out would get the desired result? Because some are saying that often this country we've had very brilliant policies, fine programs. Implementation has often been a challenge sometimes, and getting the desired result has also been a problem. I
mean, look, you have an ex-soldier sitting here. The only thing we know how to do is to get a job done. We have set out a 5-year food security plan in the PFJ2 for every one of the 11 commodities that we mainly consume. We know how much, so we know the quantity that we produce currently. And I know these things on top of my head. Poultry, we produce 5%. Onion, 27%. Tomato, 37%. Rice, 50%. I know all these things. I know the quantities. We consume 2.5 million metric tons of maize, 1.2 million metric tons of rice. If you know what you produce and you know what you consume, you have a gap. And then you plan the production cycles to be able to get the quantities to feed your people. It is all rocket science. Mostly, the task looks daunting. And so you can do all the planning that you want, and it will not take off. But what this government has been able to do is to back the plan with the support, the financing. 657 to date, 19,000 hectares of irrigation schemes constructed. I have been here 15 months. I have commissioned almost 15,000 hectares of irrigation. And as we speak, we have, since I've been here, we have started the construction of the first grain silo, 60,000 metric tons, for our security, our food security and resilience, the first one. And we are building it in Kwewu.
So going forward, our stock situation will improve.
I'm saying
but
that.
Last time I spoke to you, raised some concerns.
No, I don't know what concerns I raised, but what I'm saying is...
About our stocks and our reserves.
No, we don't have stock now. We don't have...
That's serious, Honorable.
Well, what are we supposed to do? We don't have stocks. We don't have the money to procure. And when even we do have the money to procure, we do not have places to store these grains long term. The warehouses that we built, the transit warehouses that we built, where for a farmer will harvest their maize, bring it to the warehouse, store it, dry it, store it for a time until they get market. 2 weeks' time, the maize is out. But if you want to store maize for your food security and resilience, then you are looking at a proper long-term silo, okay, that can store grains for a year a year and a half and run a FIFO system to be able to keep your stocks fresh, so that when you have a dry spell, you can release your grains to feed your people. That's what we're talking about. We have now planned our food systems to ensure that the 34 million people that we have now, okay, in 5 years, we should be able to feed them. But in 5 years, we project that the number will reach 37 million. So 37 million people in 5 years, we are able to feed them, and we are self-sufficient in all the things that these people consume, and plan the system such that we were able to scale up. I mentioned that we must, every year, we must commit 3 billion cedis into irrigation. 10 years. I mentioned that for the next 16 years, every year, we have to commission the construction of 100,000 metric ton strategic silo in all the 16 regions. This is the planning of our food system. We know what to do to ensure that farmers have inputs, farmers have, as in feed, seeds, fertilizers. We know what to do to get our poultry farmers DOCs and vaccines. And going forward, we're able to plan that within the budget so that in 5 years, we are food secure. This is forward thinking, this is forward planning, and that's exactly what we're doing. We've backed it with an IT system that tells us which farmer in which district of this country is producing what, when, what quantity will come out, aggregate that, and we know our national production stock. I'm saying information is driving the production. Information is driving the planning. And we have the energy to execute it as long as we have the backing of the people that we seek to serve, the Ghanaian people. And so far, we've had tremendous support from the Ghanaian people and from our development partners who believe in what we're doing and continue. When we announced the dry spell, the World Bank gave us $105 million. $105 million. World Food Program is carting the ECOWAS grains from Burkina Faso to us. Because they have the logistics arrangement. They are transporting it for us. IFAD is contributing. Every development partner, African Development Bank, everybody is chipping in to ensure that what we've announced, it doesn't affect our food system. So we have planned ourselves to ensure that you don't go hungry and you have enough security and assurance that there will be food tomorrow because the country's food systems are providing.
Doc, you talked about, needing about, is it 8 billion Ghana cedis or dollars?
That's correct.
Ghana cedis, right?
That's correct.
How much have you gotten so far?
3.6 billion. We've gotten about 3.6.
Not even half of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, what did we intend to do? We intend to give food for 4 months to the farmers. Because we don't have all the money, we are now giving 2. And we believe that if we give them 2 months of food ration, okay, and give them the fertilizers and the seeds, they will be able to produce and then take off. But our wish was to give 4 months of food ration. Okay, we have 2 months. We are still combing around looking for more money. But I'm happy that at least I have about 50% of what I was looking for. And we are managing it well such that we're able to get back on our
Doc, I have this question because of the impact of this on your program that they're rolling out. So if everything hasn't come in, does it slow the process down?
Not on the food production. It only cuts into half the food grants. Yes, the inputs that we wanted to supply. We wanted to supply everybody producing in the country now. We will not be able to do that. But at least we can take care of those in the southern sector whose minor season is just starting. Okay? And those who were directly affected in the northern sector, in the savannah and the transition zone, those who were directly affected. By next year, okay, by next year's planting season, at least we will have gotten part of the money from next year's budget to be able to support the remainder of the farmers. So I don't think that we announced that we need 8 billion Ghana cedis in one day to be able to fix the problem. But it's an 8 billion that we need for about 6 to 8 months to be able to restore everything.
Doc, there's part of this program about bringing in some grains as well. Are they all in?
Well, we have 34,000 metric tons of rice that is in and being distributed. We have close to about 10,000 metric tons of maize that is in. We have 15,000 metric tons of maize that is coming in on the 15th of this month, and every week I think we'll get 20,000 metric tons.
In terms of then whether these concerns came to you in terms of the importation, there were some other rice companies that were worried that it's not being spread to bring everybody on board, or even if it's about bidding, so that it opens up to everybody so they can bring in the grains. Has it come to you, Doc?
You see, I know everybody who has rice on the waters coming to Ghana. And this information is not something that is some secret thing. If you go to Shippers Council and you ask for all ships that are coming to Ghana and what is on the ship, they will give you that information. So I need something now. And the only people that I can talk to are people that it's projected that they have rice either in country or on the waters. Did you understand? Yes, I need it now. The people are hungry now.
So it's an emergency situation.
Yes, I'm not
how can we fall on?
I am not going
quickly get in.
I'm not going to give you permit if you're going to bring in the maize next week. And it's not like these products are sitting on the shelf. If you want to order rice from Vietnam, it takes a minimum 90 days to sort the logistics because it's a biological product. Somebody has to produce, store for you to go and buy. It's not something that you just go a Microsoft Office suit, you pick it on a shelf, you dust it, Ghana here. No, it doesn't work like that. We've been looking for maize. We've come throughout the world. If you go, we looked throughout the United States, here, the USAID trade office, they came to sit here in my office here around this table. We couldn't find maize in America. We couldn't find maize in Argentina. We've been combing the globe. So these are not things that somebody says that, oh, well, we need it, give us a permit and let us go. It doesn't work like that. But if I know that there is maize going to Guinea, there's maize going to Senegal, there's maize going to Togo, Burkina, Ivory Coast, and I'm able to, through my partners, get all that information. I'm able to ring up the supplier and say, hey, look, can you divert the ship to Ghana? You know, and then we'll pay a little bit more for your grains. That is what we're doing. So it's not as though we had the opportunity and luxury to tell everybody that, look, let's give out these chips here and there. We have an emergency situation that we have to deal with.
As you try and wrap up this discussion, another critical thing that has come up, and I saw that video, I don't know whether your men have sent it to you, where we had some farm areas in part of the country that were destroying their farm because they want to do galamsey. When these things come to you and they think that illegal small-scale farming activity gets them more money than the farms that they are into, the cocoa farms, which has implications on our food security, does it worry you as an agri minister?
It frightens me. It frightens me. I mean, we cannot allow galamsey to, if galamsey continues, we wouldn't have water for irrigation because we will be affecting the final product, which is the crops that we consume. So it frightens me, and it's something that we have to find. We need to have a national dialogue on it. The issue is now elevated. It's an existential threat to all of us, our water, our food, okay, the livelihoods of the people in the community that are being ravaged by galamsey. And it's something that we need to have a national dialogue about it and agree on what needs to be done. Because galamsey is illegal. Now we're left with enforcement.
Yeah. And so the backstops with a senior minister like you in government to make the proposals and make sure that it is done, because it has implications on our food supply.
But I'm saying that everything that government is doing about Galamsey, when we say government, it's you and I go in, or the soldiers go in, okay, if we spread the 34,000 soldiers in the country, you spread them throughout Ghana, 34,000 soldiers, they will not be able to even stop Galamsey in Ashanti region. You need the communal effort, okay, not only the enforcement by central government. You need a mindset change by the people in the community, okay, that when you fight the people that are destroying your land, that are polluting your waters, and when you have backup, the security people come in. But if you just wait for central government, for the lack of a better word, to bring in police people or to bring in soldiers, they don't come and stay there. They come and perform an act and they leave. And the people are in the community. The soldiers are in. Okay, let's stop. They go, we come back. But you need a community to take charge. You need a community, and it requires some level of understanding, education. Because, George, gold and poverty cannot live peacefully. You have to understand that. A poor community with a lot of gold, and you're asking them that they should live peacefully. It's not possible.
But Doc, some say the backstop suit. I bring this question because of the food security concerns, and Dr. Brian Champon is an agric minister. Maybe even at the cabinet level, let your other team members appreciate that. Listen, this is the thing that we eat to live. It's now under threat.
What makes you think that those people there are from Andromeda?
No. So then then the backstop suit government
I'm saying, George,
to push the button to
the people that sit in cabinet are just like you and I. They are not from another.
The data that you have is more than
I hear you. I hear
you. Showed me some data that I am alarmed, and I must confess.
I'm talking about the action.
Yeah. So the data you have would then influence your push.
I'm talking about
that they come in line.
I'm talking. I mean, who tells you that they are not in line? Who tells you that the people in government or president is not concerned? Who tells you that?
Look at the water bodies, Doc. If you look at all these
no, but I'm saying
the concerns come again about
but
whether
I'm saying,
enough is being done, Doc.
If you look at the political setup of a district, if you look at the political setup of a district, the only person who is appointed by the president is the DCE. One person. He's the only one that is appointed by the president. Everybody else that works with this man are civil or public servants. Are you saying that one person in the district is the one that is looking on for all those things to happen? We are not. We have to tackle the issue with the right mind and leave the politics aside. The only person in Achuma Kwanguma that the president appoints is the DCE. Who else? The rest are assembly people from the community. Where do you think the Galamsey is being mined? In the DCE's house?
No.
And that the DCE is supervising that they should mine?
The DCE has the political power to
but I'm saying that is one person. Everybody else is part of the citizenry. So we need to have a dialogue. We need to have a conversation, an urgent conversation about this matter, and agree the role of the community, the role of civil society, the role of security, the role of political parties, the role of central government, the role of the media. And then we swing into action. Because if we tomorrow announce, you'll be very happy if we announce Operation what is your name? Operation George Wiafe.
State of emergency action. Because there's always a signal of the political action.
What will a state of emergency do if you don't have the community rising up to stop Galamsey? What will a state of emergency?
The community is needed to come on board, because someone saying that we've moved beyond the talk and coming together, then the action, because food.
I'm saying I'm frightened by Galamsey and the future effect on our food systems. But I'm saying that the way we are looking, or where we are looking at for solution, we have to look within ourselves. We have to, I just came from the Eastern region. You know, by day, I'm a Greek minister. By night, I'm a politician. You know, sitting in Eastern region. I just came from the Eastern region. And I didn't hear every constituency that I went to. I didn't hear, nobody's talking about Galamsey.
Doesn't happen there?
It happens there. But people are just going about their business. Instead of us raising the awareness there and all the actions.
We should move it from Accra to the regions.
We should move it.
Home.
We should, and I'm saying that's why we need a national dialogue.
Does someone say we've moved away from
no, we haven't.
The back stops.
But we haven't.
Senior persons like you to push and ensure that, listen, we've gotten to a crisis moment.
We must all come together at this point, because it is not a threat to Barney Champon. It's a threat to all of us. It's an existential threat to our health, our food, and our water. We must all come together and have a conversation on how we deal with it. If you leave it to political action alone, okay, you will have these declarations, announcements, state of this, state of that. When I announced the dry spell, I had to get all the farming community, calm the nation, calm the farmers, assure them, and give them a glimpse into what I intend to do. Every day I'm sending information. The maize is on the way, the seed is on the way. This morning I've met all district chief executives, or at least half of them. Tomorrow I'm meeting the other half. I'm communicating with them. Everybody knows what is going to happen. I'm talking to you. The country is going to be fed with your information. When it comes to Galamsey, George, let's have a conversation that this is us, we the people. This is what we say we don't want. If there are parts of the legislation that we have to take out, the president has said Parliament is reconvening on the 15th. Certain portions of the mining legislation is going to be
MP as well. Is that going to be done as well? You will push for that.
The president,
and I want you to put on your coat as an MP as well. You know,
the president says that
push for those things being
absolutely. This is water. I want to continue to drink clean water. So if certain aspects of the mining regulations needs to be tweaked to help us, the president has led the charge. 15th MPs are going to make sure that those ones are expunged and the rules are further tightened. There's going to be an operation on the water bodies, okay? Mining licenses are going to be looked at to ensure that those who are mining are properly mining and monitored to ensure that they are not affecting our waters. And these conversations on roles of media, civil society, the community, Kwewu, there's gold in Kwewu. There's gold in Kwewu. But me and my people, we have an understanding that you won't come here. End of story.
Action in your
but I'm saying, you won't come and mine. It will not happen.
No, someone say you are taking an action in your constituency.
But I'm saying, I'm talking about the community. The community. It will not happen. And therefore, it is not happening. And that is not, they started even before I got in.
Doc, do you think the government can still do more? There's a bit about the signal and the commitment to try and send signals to Ghanaians out there that government, Dr. Barney Champon as an Greek minister, as an MP, we are committed to contain the situation to ensure that there is no metals in your yam when you buy, and again, the food. You've seen what this dry spell, some will say even in Chi, Kitwa way, are trying. What could be the impact even Galamsey going for? So, what else can more be done to ensure that, listen, we are committed in dealing with the situation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, nobody denies that more can be done and more.
Are we going to do that?
Yeah, without a doubt. Where do you think we're going after 2025? We'll all be here. We'll be in government. We'll be dealing with the situation. We'll be drinking water, we'll be eating food. So we have to deal with the situation. And the situation will be dealt with. And we're inviting all Ghanaians to be part of the conversation. All the dialogue that is going on is a good thing. I don't think anybody in government, I've not heard anybody saying that the conversation ongoing in homes and in communities is a bad thing. No. It is welcomed. And we should talk about it because it affects all of us. And I think that government is going to do what it has to do to stop the galamsey and government well.
Doc, time is not on our side, please. But again, the final ones I'm trying to wrap up on, Doc, a bit about de-risking the agricultural sector in terms of funding. I know certain things have already been done. What else is government doing to ensure that it would encourage the commercial banks? I know Gastel is doing a lot of work, development banks doing a lot of work to de-risk agricultural financing.
Technology. Because if we know who George is, where George works, what George plants, when George harvests, we can invest in you. Because when you plant and you sell, we'll get our food back. But if you don't know who George is, where George's farm is, what George plants, and George shows up at the bank that he wants a loan, George, will you give the person a loan? No. So technology, digitization. And that is what is boosting the de-risking of agriculture. And I'm saying for the 800,000 farmers that we're registering, or we have registered so far, we are confident that we are able to give them an input credit, and at harvest, we'll get our money back.
Cool, but I know there's some restructuring going on, and Doc, how are things going right now in terms of the restructuring to put it back on a strong footing?
So far, so very good. I mean, for the first time in over 50 years, the cocoa season has been opened. Have you heard a single LBC saying that he's not been paid?
We are yet to get the news.
No, there's no such news. There is no such, you'll be waiting for too long. I mean, the restructuring is going very well. Cocoa purchase is going on. The world market price of cocoa is going down. We are praying that it goes up so that we can give a little bit more to our farmers. We are monitoring that situation. I think that Cocoa Board in itself is implementing the restructuring plan, and I think that I'm happy with what they are doing so far, at least based on the data that I'm receiving. I know that they are on course.
Cocoa syndication, would it come on or it wouldn't come on? Is that still on the table, or listen, George, we are moving on?
I think we have to move on. If you don't need the money and pay all the interest, if we had gone on syndication, LIBOR now is 5.25 also. Or so far, forgive me. It's the interest rate on the world international market where you borrow. So far, it's at 5.75 plus margin of 2-3%. You will pay an interest of about 8% on $1 billion. That alone is 80 million cedis. At least that is how much money we have saved from going on the international market to borrow $1 billion. Now, if you want to buy a cocoa, bring money, fund an LBC, let the LBC go and buy it, and then we sell back to you.
Finally, Ivory Coast's price of the bean is a little bit higher than Ghana. Somehow worried that, listen, we are up for smuggling.
No, we are not up for smuggling. Let me say this in Tree, and I think immediately Ivory Coast announced its prices, its price, because we had engaged, and they had told us that they are going to announce a certain price. So we knew that it will be higher than them. Then they went into their cabinet, and then cabinet didn't agree, so they came up with a different price, slightly higher than ours. So I called the cocoa farmers here in my office. I called them. I called the chief executive. Ivory Coast is up more than us, but not my 15 cedis or so. So what do? Are we able to top up? They said, actually the world market price is going down. And we give more inputs to our cocoa farmers here in Ghana. They don't do that in Ivory Coast. We give inputs to our farmers. So if you net it off, we're actually giving our cocoa farmers more. But when I put it to them, I said, look, this 15 cedis is going to encourage smuggling. Do you know what one cocoa farmer told me? And I'll say it in Tree because he said it in Tree, quote, so far cocoa no sell the Ivory Coast as 15 cedis no sebi sika obi tuya man crofo or kwan so kra no obi do no next since 15 cedis no. So I don't think that the price will warrant smuggling. And we shouldn't be concerned at all, because I'm confident that, and we've seen the data, the cocoa purchase week on week is actually going up. And we've not had any case of smuggling that we should be concerned about on the Western corridor.
So, Doc, I appreciate your time so much. And I will be coming back again for a review of all these things that you've done, Doc.
Come back March 2025, when Doctor has appointed me as a Greek minister. You will see that we have...
You're quite confident about this December 7 election. Some might say it's too close to call.
For you, it's too close to call. But the data shows that it's 50 plus 1. 50% plus 1. The plus 1, you can be sure it's going to be for MPP.
I will definitely be holding this clip. And wherever you are, I'll track you down, Doc.
The plus 1. The 50.
I will track you
down.
The
50 we will get. The plus 1 will be in favor of
Doc,
MPP.
I'll track you down. Thank you so much for your time. This has been PM Express Business Edition, engaging the Minister of Agri, Dr. Brandy Champon, on all these measures that they put in place to try and deal with the dry spell situation on the ground and whether it will get the desired results or not. This is George Wiafe, PM Express. Have a great day.